Hey, what's up guys, Pratima here with yet another video, and today I have the Samsung Galaxy M32 with me. It is Samsung's latest mid-range phone to launch and the successor to the popular Galaxy M31 from last year. As for the pricing, the M32 starts at 15,000 Indian rupees for the 464GB variant, while the 128GB model costs 17,000 Indian rupees. This means that it goes head-to-head against the likes of the Redmi Note 10s and the Realme 8 in India. I will be coming up with a comparison video shortly, so yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Anyway, today I will be talking about my first impressions of the Samsung Galaxy M32. I have only been using it for a few hours, and the first thing I've noticed is how its design has seen a healthy upgrade over its predecessor. Compared to the boring looks of the Galaxy M31, Samsung has introduced some good rework here. It feels more like a smaller and compact variant of the Galaxy M62. The back and the frames are still polycarbonate, but I like what Samsung has done with these vertical lines at the back, this refreshing blue color option, and the relatively modern looking camera layout too. Plus, despite featuring a big 6000 mAh battery, it does not feel that heavy or bulky to hold. Weighing less than 200 grams, its build quality is pretty ergonomic as well. Likewise, the rear mounted fingerprint sensor from the M31 has been moved to the side here, and as expected, it's a reliable one. It sits just below the volume rockers, and so far I've had no issues here. As for the buttons, they are plasticky but give good and tactile feedback. On the left, you get a SIM tray that can fit dual 4G SIMs and a dedicated microSD card. Over on the bottom, there's a 3.5mm headphone jack, a USB Type-C port, and a speaker grill. As always, Samsung has included a good DAC with a 3.5mm jack. Hence, the audio output on my AKG earphone was loud and clear. However, the speaker here is only mono, and seeing how companies like Realme and Xiaomi are providing stereo speakers at this price, I think it's a big miss for Samsung. Anyway, the display department is where the Galaxy M32 has a bigger edge compared to the competition. Here you get a 6.4 inches Full HD Plus AMOLED screen with a 90Hz refresh rate, which none of the brands are offering at this price. In my brief time with the phone, I've liked the quality of the screen. As you would expect from a Samsung OLED panel, it has excellent contrast with accurate colors, plus it can get plenty bright too. The one complaint that I have with this display so far is that Samsung has implemented a notch for the selfie camera instead of a punch hole cutout. Therefore, the Galaxy M32 does feel a little outdated in this regard. Similarly, this 90Hz panel does not feel as smooth as, say, the OnePlus Nord CE, and that's probably because of the mid-range Helio G80 chipset powering the phone. Although the UI transition is smooth and all, I have noticed micro lags here and there on the Galaxy M32. Additionally, you can expect the overall performance on this Helio G80 powered chipset to be subpar in contrast to competition like the Redmi Note 10s and the Realme 8 that boast a much more powerful Helio G95 chipset. Also, Samsung has opted for the eMMC storage protocol here, which is relatively slower than the UFS 2.1 standard that you typically get on phones at this price bracket. With the eMMC storage, everything from installing apps to opening them is slower and time-taking here. Okay, moving on, I also played PUBG Mobile for an hour or so on the Galaxy M32 under smooth graphics and ultra frame rates. Surprisingly enough, I was able to achieve a stable 40 FPS gameplay. However, the graphics side of things still does not compare to the ones from Snapdragon 732G or Helio G95 powered phones. Camera-wise, you get a quad camera setup on the Galaxy M32, which includes a 64MP primary, an 8MP ultra-wide angle, and a couple of 2MP sensors for depth and macro shots. After clicking some photos, I could easily notice how good Samsung's optimization is. You get detailed yet slightly saturated photos with excellent focus and dynamic range. Images from the 8MP ultra-wide angle sensor have a slightly inferior dynamic range and details, but it looks better than the competition. I also like the portraits taken from the Galaxy M32. They are lively with good subject focus and background blur. Okay, as for the selfies, you get a 20MP shooter, which seems like a downgrade from the M31 that had a 32MP lens instead. Like with the back camera, the selfies have good colors, skin tone, and dynamic range. My only major complaint with the Galaxy M32's camera so far is its videography capabilities. While the Galaxy M31 was capable of shooting up to 4K 30fps videos, the Galaxy M32 is limited to recording 1080p and 720p videos at 30fps only. Plus, it does not seem to have a good enough stabilization either. Despite this, another highlight of this phone is its 6000 mAh battery. But I feel like it won't have as good endurance as the Galaxy M31 because the 12nm Helio G80 is not as energy efficient as the 10nm based Exynos 9611 chipset that we saw on the Galaxy M31. Samsung has added a 25-watt power delivery charging support here, although you only get a 15-watt adapter inside the box. Overall, just like the Galaxy M31, the M32 also looks like another solid mid-range phone. Having said that, performance is not its strongest suit, and if you are an avid gamer, there are better alternatives to shop for. Still, if you prioritize multimedia consumption and camera performance over everything else, the Samsung Galaxy M32 might just be the right phone for you. Okay, so that was all for my first impressions of the Samsung Galaxy M32. I will be coming up with a full detailed review of this phone, followed by a couple of comparisons with the Xiaomi Redmi Note 10s and the Realme 8. So stay tuned for that and stay subscribed. Till then, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching.